Hi friends, my name is John Gonzalez. Thanks for joining me for another episode of 10 Things You Need to Know About. In this episode, we're taking a look at Rock Hard 1977. And when I say we, I mean me, my cat Comet, and you at home. So strap in, turn it all the way up to 11, and let's get started. Rock Hard 1977 is designed by Jackie Fox, the bass player of The Runaways, a seminal LA rock group during the late 1970s. Jackie is also a lawyer and a former Jeopardy contestant. In Rock Hard 1977, you're an up-and-coming musician dreaming of making it big with your band. With careful planning and a little luck, you'll earn the most fame and become the best new artist of the year. Rock Hard plays up to 5 players and takes about an hour to play. Gameplay happens over the course of 9 months or rounds in which players take actions during 3 distinct phases: day, night, and after hours. Players stake out the best spots to gain fame, earn money, play gigs, write songs, and even hang out at reputable establishments. Players will also have to balance their jobs and whether or not they actually show up and do those jobs. The game also features set collection in the form of after-hours experiences. At the end of the game, the player with the most fame, aka victory points, wins. One of the interesting mechanisms in this game is candy, which lets you potentially take additional actions on your turn. When you use candy, you return your candy to the supply and flip over a card. You then increase your craving meter by 1 unless it's a sugar-free card. Sugar-free cards don't increase your sugar and they don't grant you an extra action. You then roll a 6-sided die. If the result is lower than your current craving level, you didn't satisfy your craving and you'll have to skip your day action during the following round. There are 8 cards in the Sugar Rush deck, 6 of which give you 1 extra action, 1 of which gives you 2 extra actions, and 1 that grants you 0 actions. The player boards in Rock Hard 1977 are something else. They look like guitar amps and have these great plastic knobs. They're dual layered and your character card slots right in. Not only do they look really nice on the table, but they are also very useful. Your player board will help you keep track of your stats like chops, reputation, songs, royalty, and craving. There are 9 playable characters in the game. There's singers, 2 guitarists, a drummer, 2 keyboardists, and 2 bassists. There's even a promo character based on the designer/rock legend Jackie Fox, sold separately of course. All characters have a unique special ability, and there's plenty of diversity represented. The rulebook is pretty extensive for such a straightforward game. It's presented in a very generous size format that is easy on the eyes. The art by Jennifer Heener is fantastic. The characters are bold and vibrant. They capture an era and time pretty well and add to the game's charm. Coupled with the design layout, Rock Hard really hits it out of the park with its look. The overall quality of the game is awesome, but one standout is the paper money in the game. When I think of paper money, I think of Monopoly and the fact that whenever that game gets played, someone will invariably end up flipping over the table. But Rock Hard 1977 does paper money right. It feels durable, looks nice, and has fun little touches like stains and art. Alright, so here are my final thoughts on the game, and before we get started, I do want to preface this by saying that I do know Jackie Fox, the designer. We've played some games together. We played like RPGs together a couple times, and we've hung out at some conventions, so I consider us to be friends or in friendly terms. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out there, and so everything's on the up and up. Alright, so I absolutely love the theme and setting of Rock Hard 1977. I feel that the designer did a really great job capturing 1977 or the late 70s rock scene in LA in a fun way. I wasn't there, but they were, and I feel like they bring a really good sense of what it really was back then, of what the scene was like back then. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the authenticity behind the game. I always say we need more games based on art or music or other themes besides trading in the Mediterranean. And this delivers quite nicely, especially when you pair it up with the presentation. The presentation in this game is amazing. They really went all out making this game look really nice. And the art by Jennifer Heener really, really pushes that forward. It really contributes to it in a meaningful way. Having said that, those coming to this game looking for a heavy experience, I know that the game looks a bit heavy on the table with its various boards and beautiful widespread setup. People looking for a heavier experience are going to find something that's more lighter, more approachable. It's in the realm of a light Euro, which is not a bad thing. I know that people will complain or have complained about the luck in this game, and in a few of the playthroughs, there were some luck-based elements that didn't sit right with some people at the table. The game has these event cards that go off at the beginning of the round, so you'll flip it over, and it'll have something that'll influence the rest of the round. A lot of Euro games have this, so no worries there, but there were a few cards that rubbed people at the table the wrong way. Like there was one card that essentially blocked off 1/3 of the board from being used, and that felt a little bit unreasonably limiting. Like it just came out of nowhere, especially if you don't know that these cards are coming out. You might feel a little bit blindsided by these. Some of the events also impact candy, which is a major resource in the game. The candy lets you do extra actions on your turn, possibly 1 or 2, sometimes 0. There was one card that I believe it limited the use of candy or buying and selling candy. And I had an end of game scoring card that was like, hey, you have to have 6 candy. And during the last couple of rounds, I was working towards that. But that card came out at the end and it was like, and it felt a little, if it caught me out unawares, and I was like, well, now I can't complete my end of game scoring bonus. Granted, it's not a lot of points, but it did feel like, here's the thing I was thinking about most of the game, just keeping it in the back of my mind. And then all of a sudden, it's out the door because of an event in the game. The designer has gone on record and said that if you don't like the cards, you could just leave them out. You could leave out the events, or you could pull out cards that, are your group might not like. Which going forward, I will be removing some of these cards or not playing with them. Unless I have people at the table that are like, well, we need to play with the game as is. In that case, I'll show them the whole experience. I mean, some of the events are really fun, like thematically they make sense, and they change the state of the game a little bit, and they're fun. But some of them, I've noticed that people tend to be like, really, are we really not being able to take our turns in this part of the board or take an action on this part of the board? All right, so candy in the game, the way candy works is that you announce at the beginning of your turn that you're going to use candy. And you flip over a card, and that card tells you whether you're going to get 1 action, 2 actions, or 0 extra actions for your turn. You're going to get your regular turn plus whatever the card gives you. But you also have to increase your sugar craving by 1 and then roll against that sugar craving. If you roll under, then you're going to have to spend your first turn on the next round sitting it out, which is fine. It's a push your luck element, which I respect. That's fun. I like push your luck. It's really fun to sit at a table and push your luck. But what I don't really dig that much is not getting an extra action, right? Spending your candy and then not getting an extra action just because of luck, just because you flipped over the card that has that 0 action. And then someone else gets 2 actions. I mean, there's only one card that gives you 0 actions and one card that gives you 2 actions in the deck. But it feels bad when you draw the one that gives you 0 actions. Ask me how I know that, because it happened to me like a couple of times. And I understand that thematically, the game is making a point about the nature of addiction with candy, because you're relying on it to give you that extra action. But if you use it too much, you end up taking a timeout and not being able to take a turn during the round. But it does feel a little bit punishing when you get 0 actions, or somebody else gets 2 actions. And I think the real impulse behind this game, the real force behind it, is the theme. And the theme is really rock solid, no pun intended. And so, yeah, the theme at the table, it makes a lot of people happy because, like, especially if you have the right group of friends that are gravitating towards a game about rock or about being a rock star in LA or about the era. Like that really pushes the game to a really nice place at the table. Like I've had games of Rock Hard 1977 where we spend a lot of time talking about like, well, what's the name of your band? What's the name of your single? And all that is like really fun. It brings a really fun element to the table, just the personal experiences of the designer paired along with you just imagining what it's like to be a rock star. I think that carries the game really far. All right, so this is a super fun game and the theme is amazing with great components, and for that I highly recommend it. All right, so there you have it. Thanks for joining us for this review of Rock Hard 1977. My name is John Gonzalez. This is Comet. We're going to keep working on some more videos. We're probably working on a video right now as you're watching this. If you like the content, please consider liking and subscribing. Whichever order you do it is fine. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.